Gotchasports. We're back. Carrie, how we feeling on this fine Wednesday?
It's awesome. I love
Halfway
it.
through.
It's been a great week. That's so much fun.
Smell some sarcasm there.
Yeah, no, I'm very much looking forward to this weekend again. But that's how every week goes. Yeah, just excited for another weekend of baseball. Also,
We're here. We're Gotchasports. If it's your first time joining us, welcome. Today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit college basketball. College basketball is a pretty wild weekend. We're going to dive into all the different games, crazy things that happen off the court or not during games. Going to bring back starters versus benchwarmers. Haven't done that in a couple episodes. Things we need to get off our chest. And then, like we said, baseball's here. We're going to talk MLB, college baseball as well, gear grinders, of course, and then the best part of every episode, the best bet. Carrie, let's just jump right into it, all right? College basketball. First thing I want to note on, Duke Miles, Oklahoma basketball player, losing multiple teeth, diving on the floor. I, first of all, love the hustle. When a guy dives on the floor, there's nothing in the sport of basketball that can get your team more hype than somebody diving on the floor and it being successful. Well, we're taking a charge, but it's electric. The one thing about this, though, that I struggled with, and I think it's just, it stems from when I watched The Walking Dead growing up, when like a zombie would hit his teeth on like a rock. Just like that image, that sound, that feeling of like your teeth hitting
gives you the
something so hard. Yeah, dude. They kept showing the replay, and I was like, just stop. Just stop showing this.
yeah, it was like the thing with the Kevin Ware snapped his leg. They
just similar
re-showed it over and over again. And it's like,
I mean,
come on, dude.
that one's an outlier. That one's obviously worse. But
yeah,
I mean, this one is, again, it's just something that I just cringe at every single time I see it.
I think I'd arguably rather snap my leg than lose a ton of teeth.
I don't know about that.
I fully believe in that, honestly. I'm not joking.
No.
I could Kevin Ware myself walking out the front door over falling down the stairs and shattering my teeth.
I just don't even know that. What do you do? That feeling in either situation. It's like you're just hopeless.
Hear me out. You're living your everyday life. You snap your leg.
Yep.
You don't got to go to work. You got to get surgery. You got to be all laid up. You lose a few teeth. What are you going to tell your boss? Hey, I lost a few teeth. I can't come in today. He's going to be like, don't be a loser. Get into work. Like your teeth aren't stopping you from doing anything.
I don't know. You show him that video and be like, boss, I'm not coming into work today. He might show some sympathy.
No, I don't think so. I think there's a lot of bosses out there that would not care.
That's fair. That's fair. If you're going to take it that route, that's completely fine. The recovery of breaking your leg that Kevin Ware did, that's something.
Hey, but he came back.
He sure did.
So did Gordon Hayward.
True. Paul George,
yeah.
When he snapped his leg on the stanchion, I was watching that game live. That was bad.
Yeah, I definitely was watching the Kevin Ware one live. Gordon Hayward, Paul George, I think I missed both of those, but obviously saw the replay a million times.
But all of them, scary situations. Duke Miles, shout out you for just hustling. But man, I'm sure you're regretting hustling after that one.
Yeah, dude.
You might think twice about it next time.
Yeah, I don't know what's going through his head. I also can't comprehend how he managed to do that. It's not too often you see a player dive on the floor and lose a tooth, let alone multiple.
His entire mouth.
Yeah.
All of his teeth just gone.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost impressive if you think about it.
I also was not laughing because it's not a great situation for Duke Miles, but I was kind of laughing because the trainer had on rubber gloves and was handing them to the coach, all of his loose teeth, handing them to the coach that just didn't have gloves on. It's like,
Yeah.
what was, there's no point in that.
Yeah. Talk about taking some hardwood to a whole nother level.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That was one situation. I mean, it was on the court, but not necessarily like game wise. One game I do want to talk about. Did you catch the Arizona BYU game Saturday night?
I caught a bit of it, and I know there were some issues with the refs at the end of the game.
Horrible, horrible. As somebody who live bet Arizona money line, I was fuming, fuming. They don't
I
call
was
the and one at Caleb Love. He made both free throws, but still, that's another point. And then the foul call in the next possession, in with 3 seconds left. I get it. That's honestly probably going to get called 6 times out of 10, but it is so soft.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually, now that you remind me, I did see that and one call, and it seemed like the ref blew the whistle on the foul. And as he throws his arm up to call the foul, he immediately throws his arms down, signaling no, that the ball was on the ground or whatever. And I thought that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Well, yeah, I mean, the first guy that reached in didn't touch him. So either the ref just thought he did and he was the one that actually committed the foul, is my only guess. But in that situation, in that type, like, it's one of those things too where it's like that should be reviewable. But we go through all these end of game scenarios where the last 5 minutes of the game last an hour because of all the different reviews. I don't want that to happen. Just get it right.
No. Yeah. It was a horrible call, and it's, something you see every now and then. It's not like it's happening every night. It's just obviously something that should never be called. And it's just something going forward that I don't think will ever be a reviewable play because it just doesn't happen frequently.
Yeah, I don't. In that situation, I don't think you can call that on the floor. But I mean, I get it. And on the other end of the floor, it was just these refs. They get graded every game. They're trying out to make March Madness just like everybody else is. So, you know, really hit hard when you have money and some skin in the game. But at the end of the day, they made the call. It is what it is.
I think
And
it's
then
the
on
whole thing.
Sunday,
Well, that's the whole thing with the umpires. I was going to say too. I think to an extent it's part of the game, and there are certain things that I
yeah,
don't think ever should be reviewable.
for sure. And I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Sunday, we have Purdue versus IU, huge rivalry. Obviously, being in Indiana, everybody talks about this type of game when it comes around. Happens 2 times a year. Might have been the biggest offensive collapse I've ever seen coming out of halftime. And you know me, I probably watch over 200 college basketball games a year. And I don't think I've ever seen a team that looked like they had such complete control on both ends of the floor and absolutely collapsed for the last 20 minutes that I did see from Purdue in that IU game.
Yeah, I mean, this in my mind though is not that crazy of a game. That's Big Ten basketball to me. We've seen at times, just for example, we've seen Michigan throw up 50 points and a half, and all of a sudden they play an average Nebraska team and couldn't even put up 30 points in the first half. And it's
Oh,
just
for
like,
sure.
I think the consistency of these Big Ten schools, and even you can see it in the Big East schools, just varies a ton. But it's just like, as a very dominant Purdue team over the past few years, it's shocking to see them go from the team they were in the first half to the second half, because it seems like this is one team that is always running set plays. They always know what they're doing. They're pushing the ball, and it's like, yeah, to an extent, you got to just tell one of your guys to go out and get a basket when the shooting was just rough that second half.
For sure. They were 12 minutes into the second half, 8 minutes left in the game, and Purdue in that second half had 9 turnovers and 8 points.
Yeah,
That's
that
not going to win you some ball games.
it's going to lose you a lot of ball games.
Yeah. And they put up, I think, 41 or 42 in that first half. And then I don't know what Mike Woodson said in that locker room. I don't know what Trey Galloway said in that locker room, but my gosh, did they come out. And they weren't even playing that well offensively. They were just
No.
getting easy transition buckets. I mean, most of the time Purdue wasn't getting into their set until there was like 8 seconds on the shot clock because IU was denying the ball so well. So, I mean, shout out IU, but Matt Painter and Purdue, they have to figure this out. Otherwise, they're going to lose first round in the tournament.
Right. Yeah. And we've seen Indiana look so bad this year, yet with it being a rivalry, Purdue just cannot figure them out this year. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. I don't know. Those two games really jumped out to me. Just obviously, on one side you had a ref show, and the other side you just had an absolute domination and collapse from teams. Shout out to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, though. We finally get our win over a bubble team in Pitt. Shout out the boys for closing it out. Almost blew it. Almost wanted to give me a heart attack, but they didn't, and they close it out against Pitt. So shout out the Notre Dame boys. Shout out Mike Shrewsbury. We're coming.
Yeah.
We're coming. If you were off the train and you weren't showing up, don't come back. Don't come back.
I love that speech. It was out of nowhere, but
it was great.
I was all for it. He's fired up.
Me too.
That's what you need out of a coach with a struggling team right now.
Absolutely. Did you see what happened to IU Indies, the team bus?
No, I don't even know what sport you're talking about.
The IU Indies used to be IUPUI, Ooey Pooey.
Oh,
their
okay,
men's basketball team, their bus blew up.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they were coming back from a road trip. Their bus blew up. Everybody was okay, but they lost all of their gear. Honestly, as a former manager's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Everything that you have to account for is just gone.
Yeah.
Carrie, look up the picture of the bus.
IU Indy basketball bus. Smoldering. There's no windows anymore.
Dude, it's just gone. Everything was just gone.
This thing truly blew up. It didn't catch on fire. It blew up.
Oh, no, it blew up. And honestly, thank God everybody's okay. Because when I saw that picture, I was like, oh, my Lord, that's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, that's not an ideal scenario to throw a little picture out there for you guys. It looks like a literal bus from like a zombie apocalypse. Like that will never move again.
No.
I don't even know how else to explain it, but it's just the fact that everyone is okay is incredible.
Literally.
Yeah. Yeah. That reminds me of us back in high school. Well, not as severe.
Not nearly as bad.
Yeah. But, it's the first time our high school ever goes to a state championship for baseball. And of course, our bus breaks down. So then we end up having to ride to the field with one of our rivals in our conference to the state championship game. That was unbelievable. I actually forgot about that until right now.
That and being a manager, I've dealt with many bus nightmares. Nothing as drastic as this, but glad everybody's okay. Again, manager's worst nightmare. Speaking of managers, though, on a positive note, shout out Alabama Crimson Tide, Roll Tide. They honored one of their basketball managers, Mason Benedetti. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but they honored him and his family by wearing pink shoes to show support to his mom, who lost a battle to breast cancer. Absolutely love this from the Tide, showing love to my fellow managers. This is fantastic. Social media was buzzing about it. Shout out Alabama basketball.
Yeah. I mean, I'll throw out a Roll Tide from me. It's respect. I don't know if you saw it actually recently. I believe the University of Arizona made a highlight tape of their managers, and it was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Great.
Like those guys were actually putting in some crazy effort.
Oh, yeah. Hey, it's the manager way. If you know, you know.
Yeah. I don't know, but I'm sure you do.
Overall, pretty wild week. You had your upsets. Another thing to touch on, A-Rod. make an appearance in the college basketball world. Hits a
Yeah.
half court shot at
Yeah.
Bucknell, and that
I
thing went
saw
viral.
that. I saw that and I was like, there's no way this is real. I was like, this has got to be some lookalike.
Yeah,
Does he have any actual influence with Bucknell? Like, what was the reasoning? I don't know. Because I thought he got drafted out of high school.
yeah. Does he's got kids, right?
I mean, no clue. I fucking can't
Yeah.
stand that guy.
I've got no idea the connection to Bucknell, but insane, insane.
Yeah. Yeah. I Well, dude, I saw another thing too. I don't know if it was this year or recent. This kid did a challenge where it's like layup, free throw, 3-pointer, half court shot in 30 seconds or whatever. And he was supposed to get like 10 grand from
Yeah, it was a UMass
some
women's
like,
basketball game.
yeah, it was like some insurance company, I believe, was supposed to owe him. And then they said that like his foot was on the line or whatever. So he didn't get it. And then the whole university kind of like got in support of him. And even I think like higher up university officials or coaches even said they'd pay him or something. And then the insurance company came out and said that the school didn't even file a claim or anything. So they turned it back on the school. And I was like, all right, okay, I need to figure out what's actually going on because this kid is probably just in shambles. Like, all
Yeah,
right, so just someone give me my 10 grand and we can just call it quits. Like, this does not
right.
need to be that big of a deal.
UMass did end up paying him out, but yeah, it was a process for that kid to get his money that he rightfully deserved.
Right. And in like my in my head, I'm like, if this insurance company is doing this, you'd think they could just toss him 10 grand, no problem.
Yeah, I don't understand what the hiccup was or why there was like we're not paying this out
Yeah.
because first of all, the whole foot on the line thing, piss off,
Yeah, dude. Like
dude.
it's a college kid. Like, come on.
Yeah,
It's not like it was some NBA star that just doesn't need the
right,
money at all. Like
right.
then sure, you could make a joke about it that his foot was on the line, doesn't count. But like to do that to a college kid who that probably just made his college career. Like 10
Oh, for
grand in
sure.
college, 10 grand in college is absurd.
If I did something to win 10 grand right now, it would make my entire life,
Yeah. Dude,
and I'm
I
not
mean
even in college anymore.
if I did that back when I was in Chicago, I would own sluggers. I would own the bar sluggers. That's what
I
I would
think you
do.
might need a little more than 10K.
I probably need to add another 0 or 2 to the end of it, but
I'm sure. I'm sure. But yeah, that was pretty wild. That was wild. But they did pay him out, so
all right, that's good to hear. I never heard how that finished out, but that was just
yeah, they
mind
did.
blowing to me.
For sure. For sure. But Kerry, let's keep this thing rolling. We got starters versus benchwarmers this episode. Who are you starting this week?
With spring training recently starting, I will be starting the Chicago Cubs spring training organization team, whatever you want to call it. Currently 5-0, 6-0, something like that. Beat the Dodgers twice, like I've said, and they're going to win the World Series this year. Beat the White Sox, which every team has been doing so far in spring training once again. But
In regular season.
correct. I will say the Cubs prospects are very good, and we have some exciting players that are fast, and that's what I want to see in our organization. Those
You have
type
a
of
top 10
players,
farm system in baseball.
yes, yeah. And the thing is, we have. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's either Alcantara or Alcantara. Outfielder, dude flies like a
Yeah.
little infield single. You have no shot. He's gonna get a million infield singles, and it's like it is kind of frustrating to say he's just not going to play with the current outfield we have. And I mean, it's you just got to suck it up.
Who?
And
You got Kyle Tucker, Pete Crow.
Ian Happ,
Yeah. Will
Ian
he will
Happ, I
he
think
make
has
the
2 Gold Gloves now.
will he make the 40 man or will he be in
I
spring
don't,
or
I don't
in
see,
minors?
I don't see a point of it unless someone in that outfield is not an everyday guy.
Yeah.
And I would like to think Ian Happ and Kyle Tucker are both still young enough. Obviously, Pete Crow is, but I would like to
Right.
think that those two are also still young enough that they can handle the majority of the games. And I could see where
Fair.
they just want this guy to be playing as many games as possible right now.
Yeah, totally fair. Must be
Yeah.
nice to have that luxury of a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, you're actually really good, but we need you to just chill in the minors for another year or two because we don't need you.
Yeah, for real.
Other teams would love to have you, but we're not going to give you away either.
Hand up. trade them to the rivals.
Yeah, I mean,
Send them our way.
we'll take Arenado if you want to have him. I think I would like that trade. But what will you be starting this week?
I will be starting listening to the radio call of baseball games. I think we need to normalize this. Okay, listening to the radio call instead of watching the game. On Friday of this past week, there was no broadcast for the Xavier versus Liberty college baseball game. So I was either just going to follow along on Twitter or some other box score, or I was going to listen to the radio call. Driving home from work, throw on the radio call. And man, was it electric. It was so sick. An old pastime that I thoroughly enjoyed. I don't know if it was because Liberty scored 10 unanswered runs, being down 7-0, and I had money on Liberty, or
Parlay.
if it was or if it was actually just fun to listen to. And the Liberty, I don't know his name. We need to do some research. We need to get him on podcast because this guy, he's got the baseball voice and he's got the emotion. Probably is in his upper 50s, maybe even touching 60s. I don't know.
He's probably been at Liberty for 20 years.
Probably. But this dude, I'm telling you, maybe I'm just hyping this up way too much, but listening to radio call of baseball games, it had a different juice to it. It had a different feeling. You just hear the sound, the crack of the metal bat in these situations, and you're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Like, you can't see the ball flight. You can't predict anything. You're just listening to a man talk a ball, and it's great.
You might have just found the Gus Johnson of college baseball.
I might have. This guy's got to be getting paid well because, man, he brought the juice. And I was fist pumping in my car. It was great. It was great.
Yeah. I will say, I think the vast majority of MLB broadcasters, announcers, whatever, they definitely could do a little better just emotion-wise. I get it's a very professional lifestyle once you're that high calling games. But, man, like, I agree with you. If we had some more exciting calls, it's definitely something where I would throw the Cubs game on in the car instead of just listening to music on the way home from work or something like that.
Right. And it was also, too, I do have something to compare it to because the CW network blows. It's a local network. So whenever Notre Dame's playing on the CW, the fact that they are an ACC media TV broadcast just shows where the ACC is at as a whole. But couldn't watch the game. Stream East was down. Crack Streams was down. Couldn't get the game. So I had to listen to the Notre Dame radio call. Shout out Tony Simeone. He's fantastic. Love you, dude. But baseball just hits different. It does.
Yeah.
You know, there's more downtime. You just got a guy talking into a mic for 3.5, 4 hours. It's just a different feeling, and I think we should normalize it.
There's a good chance you don't know a single player being named either. You have no idea if he's good or bad. You have no idea what to expect.
That guy could have been hitting 800 with a on-base percentage of 1.6 with 7 home runs. I don't know. Would have zero idea.
Yeah. And obviously college sports don't have the same equipment as pros, depending on maybe what sport it is. But I will say that the hilarious thing, too, about baseball and broadcasters with college baseball, depending on the stream or like if they're able to see the pitch that well, the amount of pitches they screw up saying if it's a fastball or a changeup or a curveball, and it's just like, no, that was not a curveball. Like, not at all.
For sure.
But if you're just watching the broadcast, you'd have zero clue. Or listening to the broadcast, you'd have zero clue.
Right. And not only that, too, but a lot of these broadcasters, if you are watching the game, they'll be like, the ball will sound great off the bat, and they'll be like, that's out of here. See a ball. And it's just like 30 feet short.
Yeah. I did see one of those.
Depth perception's just not a thing.
opening weekend, this guy was like, deep drive back, and it literally landed in the grass before the warning track, and I was like, brother, like come on. I get you probably have a tough angle. Like I don't know where your box is at, but like
Yeah.
in what world was that ball close to going out? The winds are just
Right.
blown in at 30 miles an hour. I think it was at Georgia
Right.
Tech. And I thought it was so funny. Then you
For
just start
sure.
shit
But
talking the announcer.
oh yeah, idiot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let's normalize radio calls for baseball games. But
Yeah.
Carrie, what are you benching this week?
I'm benching the Chicago White Sox. They should cancel their season.
Oh,
They've had multiple spring training games where they've got blown out by 10 already. I get it's not their MLB roster. I understand that. But brother, these guys are bad. And like there's just no way around it. I don't It's so hard to actually think that these are bad players too because they're in the MLB. They got invited to spring training. It's like are they really that bad or are they just not clicking as an organization or what's going on? Because
that it is a weird concept.
that's what I'm saying. There's no way these players are bad. It's physically impossible that they are bad.
Right.
Like I cuz like you can go through multiple teams and you can say certain players are horrible or don't belong in the league. Like Danny Vogelbach, I'll say it. How many guys are ever going to look like him and be able to play in the MLB? And I still and I still don't think he's great. He gets thrown out at second base when balls go to the wall. Like and in my opinion, that's like one guy where I'm like, how does this guy just consistently make the league every single year? And he plays. But
Yeah.
it's just like with this White Sox team, you can't go list every single player and say that. Like it's just impossible. There's no way
Right.
they're actually that bad.
Yeah. It's I don't know if it's
Like it angers me as a Cubs
coaching.
fan.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know what these guys are telling them because I mean, like you said, obviously they're good enough to make the league. They made a major league roster. They're at spring training. Their talent level is on par with everybody else. You know, so
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what you do, but these guys aren't that bad, and they shouldn't lose every game, whether it's regular season, spring training, or just a good old scrimmage against a college
Yeah.
team. Like they should not be this bad and
Yeah.
lose this many games.
Like it quite literally feels like they go into a game without knowing the history of the pitcher, what he throws, what
It
they've
could be a
seen from
huge
him in
part
the
of it.
past. And it's just like that to an extent, like obviously when you're swinging up at the plate, you don't want to think. But if you know a guy's going to whip in a ton of off speed, maybe don't be afraid to let a fastball go by and just sit on off speed the whole at bat. If he
Yeah,
beats you one at bat, that's your adjustment for the next one.
right,
It's just like it's
right.
unbelievable to have
Do you think?
multiple games lost by 10 already.
Do you think if you're on the White Sox, obviously it's spring training, the year hasn't even started yet, but if you're on the White Sox, like even last year, you think a lot of those guys are just like, we suck, we're not going to win games. All I care about is individual stats.
I don't even know if they care about individual stats. They just want to get out of there. And like I just
Their whole mission is just to get out of
yeah,
Chicago.
I just don't know what it is. Like it reminds me of the Oakland A's in Moneyball. The
Yeah,
scene where the guy is just I think it might even be Giambi or something. Is just dancing on the table after a loss and the coach comes in is just or the manager comes in is losing fun and he's
yeah,
just staring at him. He's got to ask him again. He's like, "Is losing fun?" And he's like, "No." Like he's just miserable to be there. So they got
yeah,
to do other shit to like keep them interested.
yeah. I wild what's going on in Chicago. So you know what? I'm excited to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I'm going to predict they're going to finish last in their division. If anyone wants to go throw $1 on them, I'm pretty sure they're still like plus 50,000 to win the division. Plus 50,000 out of 5 teams.
Yeah,
Like
that's
that's the
insane.
all other four teams are like lower than plus 400, I think. Like the Indians, the Twins, the Tigers, the Guardians are all in the plus like 180 to plus 400 range. And then you have the White Sox at plus 50,000.
That's wild.
That has to be one of
That's
the worst
wild.
rankings or odds ever thrown out in
Probably.
MLB sports.
Yeah, probably.
Because it's not like it's to win the AL.
Or the
It's
World
to
Series.
literally, or the World Series.
To
Yeah,
beat
World
four other
Series.
teams.
Yeah, I mean, World Series, I don't even, it's got to be plus like 100,000. I don't even know if they do odds that high, but that's literally what it has to be.
Yeah, that's wild.
But none of that. It's getting me a little too heated over this team that I don't even care about or like. Um, what are you benching this week?
I'm going to be benching Bucknell basketball. Why is A-Rod having the chance to win 10K at a half court shot and it not be a student, a kid, anybody else? And we even talked about it. We've seen it multiple times this year, or one time this year. Team did not pay out the student if they hit the shot. One, they are zero chance that A-Rod is getting 10K. Second of all, A-Rod made about that per pitch when he was in the MLB.
Yeah.
He made 10K per pitch. What a shame from Bucknell basketball not giving a student this opportunity to win this money. I was so out on
Do you
Bucknell
think
basketball this weekend.
is there any shot maybe he was shooting for a student to win 10K?
No.
No.
I mean, maybe. But the headlines would have been A-Rod wins 10K for Bucknell student. You know?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be, look at A-Rod, baseball Hall of Famer, hits a half-court shot to win 10K.
I hate
Unbelievable.
him. I hate him. Maybe it was like an attendance thing with fans. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But out on Bucknell basketball, Bucknell University, we got to figure something out. We can't have celebrities shooting shots for 10K. All right.
Yeah, that's so funny.
But we talked about it a little bit already. Baseball, MLB. It's a pretty sad day, to be honest with you. There's no more poop score bug in the Phillies versus Pirates. They changed it.
Yeah, that's so dumb because that's they can't allow the slightest bit of like kids humor
Fun.
in the world.
No fun. There's no
Yeah.
fun. There's just no fun with score bugs
Yeah.
anymore. And they got rid of poop, and I'm mad.
Now it's what, PIT and PHI
Something like that, yeah.
for the abbreviations. I think it is. It's just so stupid though. Imagine us at like 6, 7 year old watching the game with your dad and you see poop pop
Poop.
up. Like that's how you get enjoyment, and then your dad even gives off a little giggle because you're just being a little
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah,
Like
100%. I'm
it's so
I'm
weak.
24 and I want to see poop.
Yeah. They did bring back the old jerseys though. That's a positive.
Well,
I don't know if they're the old
agree.
jerseys. They're better than last year's.
For sure. And I agree with that. They're the bigger numbers, the bigger like
The
nameplates on the back.
straight letters too, not that curved thing.
Right. But the problem with the New Jerseys and going back to the like old way is that the numbers in the last names being larger for a guy like Pete Crow Armstrong that says Crow Armstrong, the jersey looks horrendous. The name
Yeah.
goes the name starts at like I don't know, the end of his rib cage. It ends
Yeah.
at the end of his rib cage and goes all the way around to his neck. Like that looks horrible for people that have long last names.
Yeah. Too bad he's a stud though, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well.
Heads up base
I don't-
runner, electric.
Yeah. I would love to have him on
dyes
the
his
Cardinals.
hair, crazy patterns.
But to your point, yes, it is a good thing that they have the old way of the way that the font looks. And then also, has a pair of pants ripped so far in spring training? Because I feel like
I don't know.
last
I feel
year
like,
it was like once an inning somebody's jersey ripped.
yeah, I know. I don't think that's happening anymore. And last year's jerseys, I think, were just all around bad.
Yeah.
I also think like the way you slide is definitely part of the reason players get holes in their pants. It's just like not sliding
Oh, yeah.
correctly. Or just
Well,
like sliding
I mean,
way too hard on their knee or something. I
yeah,
don't know.
it could be. It could be. I
I've
mean,
definitely like I've definitely put like a spike into my pants when I like tuck the leg under my other leg to slide. You know what I'm talking about?
for sure.
I've definitely like spiked the back of my pants, and then that's how I've gotten in a hole. But
Right. No, but overall, it's a good thing. The jerseys look way better. The quality looks way better for as much money as the MLB has and how high of an organization it is. Like that, it's needed. It's needed. So good change by them.
yeah,
I will say we talked about it last episode. The new ABS system, you can reverse balls and strikes. My fear came into reality already in spring training.
yeah.
Guardians are up 14-1 against the Angels. Angels reviewed the
This
last pitch of the game.
this
Crowd
pissed me
was
off.
going nuts. They're cheering. Make the call. They're going nuts. They challenge it. It was successful. The game ended 14-2 and added almost like 10, maybe even 12 extra minutes on top of it.
Yeah, because I think they had to switch pitchers too.
Yeah, dude. That's what I'm saying. Like, I understand it. If it was a close game, if it's 3-3, they got runners on first and second to try to take the lead in the top of the ninth. I get it. It's 14-1.
Well, yeah, dude, you even saw him turn back to his dugout, and he was even like even I felt like his dugout was even like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like it's 14-1. Like we're just trying to
My
get out of
fear,
this game and no one get hurt.
it came into reality.
Yeah,
We 3 days after we talked about it on the
it's
episode, 4 days maybe, and it already happened.
yeah, it's stupid. I'm very against it now. I was up for giving it a shot. I don't care if the umpire blows the game. I don't. I really don't.
No.
It's been a part of the game for over 100
Well,
years now.
yeah, I was very mad at the Arizona ref blowing that game, but
Yeah.
it doesn't happen like that in baseball. It doesn't.
Yeah. No, I mean there are reviewable things. I just don't think you can.
Right.
You shouldn't be able to. Dude, I hate the ones that are mid AB. It's not even strike 3 or ball 4, and we're getting
It's
reviews.
first pitch of the AB, and he's
Yeah,
put on the headset.
so dumb. Like,
Yeah.
like it's unbelievable that teams are going to actually have to talk strategy eventually about when using these and when to not use them.
For sure. But spring training, Cardinals are 1-3. We stink. It is what it is. This MLB season, we'll see what happens. College baseball, though. Cincinnati, you're dead to me. Dead. Done.
Yeah,
Dead to
yeah.
me. Up 4-0 in the eighth. Lose 5-4. Dead.
yeah.
Done. Never going to be a supporter ever. Sorry.
Fortunately, though, that's happened to a lot of teams so far, and we happen to be on the correct side of a lot of them.
Correct.
Liberty,
Correct.
Liberty down 6-0 to Xavier.
7-0.
Takes a 7-6 lead, and that game ended up going into extra innings or something too, and they ended up winning, which was electric. But we saw the same thing with UCLA.
Yep.
Down what? 4-0? 4-1? 4-0?
Down 4-0. Then they either walked or got hit by a pitch or passed balls and scored 8 runs with 0 hits.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, college baseball is the sport to live bet money line when a team's down 8
It's
runs.
insane.
Let me tell you.
It's insane. But Cincinnati, you're dead to me.
Yeah. I don't even know what team would be dead to me. I don't think I have a team that's dead to me, but college baseball's back.
Yes.
Oregon State, you got to pick it up. Not too strong of a showing. Played some very good teams, but
They won
2
us
losses
on
that I
Friday.
not like. Yeah, but not every other time I put money on them.
Fair. Shout out University of Maryland Eastern Shore. Ended their 55-game losing streak this past weekend. That's electric.
Yeah, I think I'd talked to you about this one too. I I obviously played NAIA baseball. There was a NAIA school about 2 weeks ago, probably now, won their first game in 3 seasons. They didn't know how to act when they won. That's how crazy it was. I don't get how they get
Imagine.
recruits. That makes no sense.
I was going
to
to
me.
say, imagine starting that losing streak when you're a sophomore and you just haven't won and you didn't win, you graduated, and now
Yeah,
you leave and they win.
yeah. I actually got a story for you. So, my freshman and sophomore year of college baseball, we weren't the greatest team, but my junior year, senior year, fifth year, we were solid. But I show up for my visit my freshman year of college, and I don't know too much about this school, small NAIA school in Chicago. Never heard of it until one of my buddies committed there, and I obviously went there to check the school out. I asked the coach a question. I'm curious. I was like, "What was your record last year?" Or what was your something like that? And he was like, "Oh no, we're 0-0 this year." I was like, "No shit, it's a fucking fall." Like I heard that answer, and I was like, "Oh no." It's like, what am I getting
Not
myself
coming
into?
here.
hmm Yeah, but I
And
ended
then
up
4
going there
years
and ended up
later.
working out. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's hilarious, though.
yeah, yeah.
Come on, coach.
It was a very coach answer. So like you had to
For sure.
respect it.
Oh, yeah. No, I hear you. Shout out the Notre Dame Fighting Irish as well. Went 3-0 on the weekend.
Yeah,
Beat
some
Iowa
good wins
in an
too.
insane game. Yeah. Killed Stetson. Beat UMBC pretty handily. I mean, anytime you can sweep a weekend, it's a good weekend.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I'm not gonna say what was it, Northern Florida. Who'd we open up with? North
North
Florida.
Florida.
Yeah, I'm not gonna act like they're the greatest team either, but it's another baseball team that gets to be outside year round, and took 2 out of
Yeah.
3 from them. And
Yep.
I don't think either one of us have the craziest expectations for this Notre Dame baseball team, but
Nope.
that's a great start. That's how you want to start a season.
5-1. Go. Believe we played Belmont in Nashville this weekend.
Great. That's a good school too. That's not going to be an
Yeah,
easy game.
for sure. For sure. Also, I realized it this weekend when I was watching. Well, I saw replays. I couldn't watch because there's zero broadcasts in this early part of college baseball, which is absurd. But
Yeah.
Notre Dame changed their baseball helmets. They finally have the real gold, like football has, lacrosse has, hockey has. They finally
Yeah.
have the real gold helmet instead of that shitty whatever it was.
It was like metallic, but it wasn't it wasn't like the metallic
It
football
was
helmet though. I don't even know how to explain it.
no, it was horrible. But these helmets are sick
Yeah. These are nice. They go with the jerseys a lot better. I'll tell
for
you what,
sure.
Notre Dame, if you ever get the money to do it, please change that turf though. That's all I ask.
What would you change it to?
Just get rid of the sandy looking infield.
Sandy infield, yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I think they were trying to go something for the gold with Notre Dame,
Yeah,
but
that's why they did it.
but I would even take like a darker brown turf than that. Just like make sure the baseball's as clear as possible.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know I'm not the only person that, and I'm sure you've heard that complaint multiple times, but
Oh no, I agree with you. It also when you play a 9 inning game, sometimes you play a doubleheader, just because of how light the turf is. The black pebbles make it look horrible.
oh yeah,
You
yeah,
completely eliminate that by having darker turf in the infield. And I would argue, I would say that it would look better. It would
oh
look
way
better
better.
with our jerseys, with just how the like concourse of the field looks. I just think it would simply look better. And to be honest with you, I think they might change it. I don't know when, but I think they might.
Yeah, I would love to see that. You know, the stadium has never been the greatest there, but it's not too often that they get the most packed crowds, anyways. So I'm not even gonna mention anything about that. But I will say, students, you should get out to those games. They're a pretty good time.
They are, and they cheaper, not cheap, but cheaper food than every other Notre
Yeah.
Dame event.
You might actually be able to get a $2 or $3 hot dog there.
Exactly,
Not like $8 at the
exactly.
football game.
But college baseball is here. The MLB is here. We're in that time of the sports world where there's really not that much going on until March Madness kicks in. Then you got the Masters. Then you got playoffs in the NBA, getting into the summer months of baseball, College World Series. So right now we're kind of in this period where for us, it's good because we're baseball guys. We love college baseball, and that's just kicking off. But for the majority of the public, it's not the best time in the sports world, which I totally get. But tune into some of these college baseball games. I know the majority of the people listening to this podcast don't do much. They do not do that much. Just throw a game on, and even if it's a ranked game, even better. You're going to find yourself, you're going to enjoy it. You're going to want to grab a bush latte, and you're just going to want to enjoy college baseball.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I cannot wait for the first conference games to start with the packed stadiums and the students out there.
And the aces throwing.
Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, maybe that can be a new tradition once a year. Different college stadium with I don't know. I'll go anywhere, obviously, but non-football wise, I don't know too many people out there that try to make it to a new college stadium every year.
For sure. I think that'd be a good time. But unfortunately, Carrie, we got to get to the sad part of the episode. That's gear grinders. What's been grinding your gears this week?
All right, my gear grinder, and it's fortunately getting to the end of it. I think it's getting better throughout this past month and the next few months at least. But my biggest gear grinder, the winter. Amazing time out in Arizona. But the fact that the sun goes down at 5 o'clock literally ruins my day. I cannot stand that. It's finally bright out. It's actually still bright while I'm looking outside. And, we record these after work, which is kind of saying something. But the fact that it's getting better, mood's definitely better. But, man, I will never forget in high school in the winter, leaving school at like 3:30. And it's freezing outside and the sun's already going down. And then by the time you get home, it's basically dark.
It's black.
Like that was the biggest mood killer I've ever experienced. Like nothing is worse than that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been pitch black in Indianapolis now for an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah. The sun's going down here right now, but it's just like even seeing that is such a big change from what it was like a month and a half ago. And
I agree. I agree with you.
I'm a huge fan of when the sun's out till like 8:30 at night.
Oh, it's fantastic.
That's my type of stuff. I will say you people are freaks if you're able to go to bed before the sun goes down, though. I've never understood that.
People do that?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I've ever done that, ever in my entire life.
I know someone that does it, but it's just, especially in the summer, I don't know how you do that when the sun's not down. I get darkening shades are a thing, but like, I cannot do that. It's not a thing.
No. So much day left.
Yeah.
If it's light out, there's so much day left.
There's so much day left when it's 5:30 in the afternoon and the sun's down. There's so much left to do. I'm probably not going to do any of it. I'm probably going to sit around and just be lazy, but that's all right. So it's my way to enjoy my day. But that's all I got to say on that. What is your gear grinder?
My gear grinder this week is when our pitchers that can't throw strikes. Plain and simple. God. If you bet the MLB, you bet college baseball, and your starting pitcher can't throw strikes, it's done. Pack your bags. There's no shot. It's over. It's just it is so demoralizing.
The coach is going to let him die out there too.
Yeah, I mean, you place a bet. Your starting pitcher walks out there, walks the first batter. It's 3-1 the next batter, double down the line. And it's 3-0 the next batter. It's like, we're done. It's over.
This game is officially ended.
Happened multiple times.
But you did win that bet, though.
I did win that bet, though. But yeah, it grinds my gears when I'm on the wrong side of it. So, you know what? It is what it is.
It just makes it really hard to watch, too.
Sure does. Does. But, Carrie, let's get to the best part of every episode, and that is the best bet. Unfortunately, we hyped it up too much. We hyped up college baseball too much. And I think we went 1-3 on the weekend, but that doesn't mean that we only had 4 bets out there. we won all of the others, obviously.
Yeah.
So you don't have to kick us while we were down on the plays that we were given. We just got to be smarter about the plays that we give. Like we're
Yep.
still rolling.
Oh yeah. I had a great weekend still. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe eventually we'll try to pre-plan all of our picks and throw out everything one day, but until that happens, you just got to keep riding because
Yep.
we're gonna get hot.
And there's 2 picks out there today. And you're going to have to go to our X page, at Gotchasports, to go see what those plays are. 2-0 sweep incoming. Haven't had it in a while, and it's coming today. Today is the day. Best bet, at Gotchasports. Go follow us on Instagram, TikTok, X, YouTube, you name it. We got it. That's all I got, Carrie. What do you got?
We got you, sports.
Until next time.